I have some questions for you. Did you make New Year's resolutions this year? If so, are you still on track? Did you know that 80% of people ditch their New Year's resolutions by February? Hi everyone, I'm Anna Veriano, a registered nutritional therapist, natural health practitioner, and owner of Ottawa-based Perfect Resonance Natural Health Counseling. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't bother with New Year's resolutions. That doesn't mean I don't strive to make changes or work on new habits that will improve my physical, mental, financial, and social well-being. But instead of setting these big, challenging changes for myself once a year on January 1st, I'd rather make small, simple, and practical changes throughout the year. So today, as we're halfway through February and many of those lofty New Year's resolutions have been tossed to the side, I thought I'd take 10 minutes to share 10 random but practical tips for better health that you can start anytime. I have to start with a disclaimer. It basically states that I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not diagnosing anything, and that this presentation is for self-education purposes only, not intended to provide specific advice to any individual. Always speak to your medical doctor or licensed primary healthcare provider for diagnosis and treatment related to your health. So here we go. Tip number 1, use unrefined salt instead of refined salt. Salt is as vital to our health as pure water is. We're really just a big bag of salt water. Salt is essential for many of the body's functions, including nerve impulses and muscle contractions, including those that stimulate our heart. It's important for maintaining proper blood volume and therefore blood pressure. And it also supports our digestion. For instance, hydrochloric acid, HCl, the Cl stands for chloride, a very important substance in our digestive process, in particular helping us to digest proteins. But not all salt is created equal. Refined table salt is processed at high temperatures to isolate the sodium and chloride, and that isolated sodium and chloride can disrupt the balance of other minerals in the body. This imbalance can cause water retention, which may cause high blood pressure and poor circulation. Unrefined salt, on the other hand, like Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, is made with minimal processing. For instance, with sea salt, sometimes they just evaporate the seawater out of it. And like table salt, it is mostly sodium and chloride, but it also contains many other minerals and trace minerals that are essential to our health, even in very small amounts. So just like other foods, it's best to consume salt in its natural form. And a really great salty way to add that flavor to your meals is also dried kelp or dulse flakes. So remember, moderation and variety. I hear that a lot, and I'm carrying it into tip number 2, to use nut and seed butter instead of peanut butter. Now, don't worry, peanut butter lovers. I'm not saying that you can never ever eat peanut butter again, but variety and moderation are key concepts in nutrition, and a variety of nut and seeds equals a variety of nutrients. So nut and seed butters offer a greater variety of nutrients compared to plain old peanut butter, including calcium, iron, omega-3s, vitamin E, zinc, and selenium. Tip number 3, keep the pith. What is the pith? It's that white spongy stuff that you see in the middle of a red pepper when you cut it in half. And some of us go to great lengths to cut every single bit of it out. But I'm going to tell you something. Red peppers are a great source of vitamin C and bioflavonoids. Both of those nutrients are known to be strong antioxidants. They have anti-inflammatory properties, and they're important to the health of our cardiovascular system. The highest concentration is in the pith. So tip number 3, keep the pith. Tip number 4, keep the core. Pineapples, are a great source of bromelain, and bromelain is concentrated in the core of pineapple. So what is bromelain? You'll actually often see it as an ingredient in digestive enzymes, and that's because when you take it with food, bromelain helps to digest protein. You'll also see bromelain as its own separate supplement, and when taken on an empty stomach, bromelain helps to reduce inflammation. So for more information on tip number 4, I encourage you to visit my website at perfectresonance.com and search for Why I Eat the Pineapple Core. Tip number 5, keep the papaya seeds. Papayas are a good source of papain, another enzyme that helps this time to digest proteins and fats, and it's concentrated in the seeds. So when you buy a papaya, enjoy that fruit, scoop the seeds out, clean and rinse them, dry them out, store them, and enjoy. They will look like little peppercorns, and they have a beautiful flavor that's somewhere between fresh ground pepper and horseradish. And because of the papain, if you use them in a marinade, for instance, for meat, it will actually help to tenderize the meat. So keep those papaya seeds. And you can learn more about this by visiting my website at perfectresonance.com and searching for the blog 4 Reasons Why You Should Eat Papaya and Its Seeds. Tip number 6, go for full fat. And now I'm talking about dairy products. And we don't need to consume dairy products to be healthy. In fact, the latest version of the Canada Food Guide eliminated the milk and alternatives category. But having said that, I still like to enjoy some yogurt or kefir from time to time. They're a good source of probiotics. But instead of going for the fruity, sweet, brands of yogurt, and just so you know, they're more like a dessert than a health food, because if you look at how much sugar is in one of those, even the little individual serving sizes of those fruity flavored yogurts, it can be as much as 6 to 7 teaspoons of sugar. So it's more of a dessert, really. So I like to look for plain whole fat brands, organic if possible, grass-fed if possible, and not homogenized if possible. And of course, local too. That would be a big bonus. And there are brands like that. Just go to your health food store and ask about it. And if you think that plain yogurt and kefir is boring, then add your own fruit to it when you get home, and maybe a little splash of honey or maple syrup and a sprinkle of cinnamon. So remember, tip number 6, go for full fat. Tip number 7, avoid artificial sweeteners. So some studies on artificial sweeteners suggest that they can increase the risk of diabetes. They can perhaps impair the body's normal response to glucose. They can interfere or impair with our brain chemistry. Some articles call them excitotoxins or neurotoxins. And while they trick our taste buds into thinking we're getting something sweet, like we're getting sugar or glucose, they don't trick our cells. So sometimes they can actually increase, these artificial sweeteners can increase our cravings for sugar. And usually they're used in products that aren't good for us in the first place anyways. So avoid artificial sweeteners and try, for sweeteners, healthier alternatives. For instance, coconut sugar, it's still sugar, but at least it has more minerals in it than regular white sugar. Stevia, a herb that's been around for hundreds of years, it won't impact your blood glucose. Local raw honey or maple syrup, all of those would be way better than artificial sweeteners. So remember, tip number 7, avoid artificial sweeteners. Tip number 8, skip the bubbles. There's so many carbonated drinks out there now, and they're promoting themselves as being healthy. Well, I guess they would be healthy alternatives to pop or soft drinks, but carbonation in itself can cause some concerns. So you're filling your stomach with gas, which could exacerbate heartburn or acid reflux if that's an issue for you. Some studies suggest that drinking carbonated drinks can increase our appetite. And those little bubbles are made with CO2, so it makes our body have to do the work to eliminate the extra CO2, and that job is usually done by our kidneys. Some documents have stated that it's possible that carbonation can destroy the beneficial bacteria or probiotics in our gut. So even with these, remember moderation, and the best way to hydrate our body is just with good old water. And if you think it's boring, you can find ways to make it more tasty, more appealing. Cut up some fruit or some ginger, put some cinnamon sticks or fresh herbs in there. So remember tip number 8, skip the bubbles. Tip number 9, buck the wheat with buckwheat. So compared to wheat, buckwheat is gluten-free, which is a concern for many folks. It's higher in antioxidants and flavonoids than plain old wheat, and it is definitely a better source of magnesium and B vitamins, which are both important for dealing with stress. And you can get buckwheat flour, you can get buckwheat the groats to make porridges with. I have a great pancake recipe, buckwheat pancake recipe on my website called Delicious Gluten-Free Buckwheat Pancakes. So check it out. It's one of our favorite recipes. And finally, tip number 10, eat or don't eat the banana, but keep the peel. Some studies suggest that eating bananas make us more attractive to mosquitoes. And while I'm recording this in the middle of February, mosquito season will be upon us soon. But ironically, banana peels are often cited as a great home remedy for itchy mosquito bites. So they have the banana peel has anti-inflammatory properties. And so the way you're supposed to use it is that when you get a mosquito bite, and if you're bothered by mosquito bites and they get super itchy, then you peel a banana and you rub the mosquito bite with the inside of the banana peel until the inside of that banana peel turns brown. And then you just leave the bite alone for 20 or 30 minutes and then you wash it off. So apparently some people, I don't get bothered by mosquito bites, but a few people that I know that do get bothered by mosquito bites says this really works for them. So tip number 10, eat or don't eat the banana, but keep the peel. Well, that's it for the 10 tips. And I hope you enjoyed the tips that I've shared with you today. I wanted to let you know that I have loads of free information on my website, perfectresonance.com, including research news, product news, recipes, health tips, and lots more. And there's a handy search bar on my website, so you can look up whatever topic interests you. And you can also have my monthly blogs delivered straight to your inbox by joining my email community. On every page of my website, there's a little form where you can join my email simply by putting in your name, email address, and hitting the Join Now button. And as a thank you for joining, you'll receive my free e-guide that outlines the 4 key supplements I believe most of us need for lifelong health and well-being. You can also follow me on Facebook for daily tips at Anna Veriano Perfect Resonance. And I'm also on LinkedIn, where I focus on promoting employee wellness through my posts and also promoting my in-person or virtual wellness sessions or lunch and learn. So thanks for watching. And since we started with a question, I'd like to end with one. Which one of the 10 tips will you start today?